So, how are you? Because sort of confusing couple of weeks. So you had the result against Sunderland, which felt like something really to build on. A bit longer to sort of think about that because of what happened, and then the Cardiff game, which obviously wasn't what you wanted, and I imagine wasn't what you expected either.
I've got to be consistent with my approach as well, and I have been on reflection. You know, we were looking to take on from a fabulous night at the Riverside, and unfortunately, we didn't. So we have to accept that responsibility that Tuesday night wasn't good enough, and deal with it internally and do what we need to do. Go through the process as we always do of reflection on games, and even maybe a little bit of a reflection on sort of a wider period. What we need to do as a coaching staff, what I need to do as a manager, my messages towards the players, the work that we need to do on the training ground, even though it's incredibly tough because, you know, you have to recover on a Wednesday, you have one day on a Thursday to talk, and Thursday stroke Friday you're preparing for another tough championship game. So consistent with our approach. I've been through these periods before, as you can imagine. I suppose that's why I've been a manager for so long, and it tests you. You don't enjoy it. I don't think anybody enjoys the personal criticism. I don't think anybody enjoys the team criticism. And on the wider one, which is the biggest thing, is the club criticism, because, you know, obviously the results at the moment are not what we want, expect, and demand.
I hear what you're saying. Is there a part of it that appeals to your nature at times like this, where you think, well, I've got to get deep into my bag now, and I've got to just tweak what I need to do and get this right?
Yeah, definitely. This part of me, in a way, quite enjoys this when you do get sort of questioned and wrote off a little bit, individually as a team and as a club. So important. What I can control is myself and my coaching staff and the players. There's some stuff that I can't control, but I think the nature of this part of the world, and maybe the area that I've been brought up in, is when it gets a little bit tough, you dig a little bit deeper and you come out swinging and fighting and find them answers. And I'm sure we will. I've been in worse situations than this. It's not enjoyable. It's not the start that we wanted. I think there's certain factors that you can add in why we've started in this manner, which are facts. But overall, it's the points total and the league position. Points total is not good enough. We should have picked up more points, and the league position is not enjoyable for everybody, and we're the only ones that can affect that.
You mentioned the word there. It's the easiest question to ask, but the hardest question to answer. Why?
Well, I mean, the good thing about it is, you know, we have an experienced staff, an experienced manager, and guys from a video analysis, statistic point of view, and we look for everything, and we can look at certain aspects, you know, with the attitude of the group, the training schedule, the injuries that we've got. Then we look at the system, the formation. Are we too open? Is it the system that's causing us problems? Is it individual errors? Is it causing us problems? Is it team selection? Or, you know, there's all sorts of things to add in there, which obviously over the last 48 hours has been, you know, a huge part of the time spent when not sleeping, because we have to sleep, but when we're getting up, we're looking at this, and I think I've always talked about it. It is with you 24/7, and this period is with you 24/7, and we're going through everything and going through the analysis of it all to try and work out what we need to do, what we need to tweak. Is it a formation? Is it a system? Is it an approach to a game? Are we too open? And then what you do is you analyse everything. You analyse games. You analyse the stats that we get, which is, I think, one of the really good parts of how the game's going, is that, you know, we have people working for us, and you get the stats and where things are happening and why is it happening, and the reasons that we're basically, And the top and bottom of it, we're in this position because we conceded too many goals. On the other way, we've been okay. We've scored. The attitude of the team is all right. I always think it's a cheap and easy one for people to chuck at. They don't try. Their attitude's poor. Their attitude isn't poor. They wouldn't be playing for the football club, wouldn't be playing for me if I thought that they're going into a game not caring, not wanting to run around, not wanting to work. So the numbers that we get from the stats point of view, distance covered and that, they're all right up there. So, as I said, talk about that. The attitude, that ticks off. That's okay. As you've seen, second half, that could quite easily turn if you've got a team of poor professionals and a team full of bad attitudes. Then people just turn it in, and that goes from 3 to 4 to 5 quite easily. And I've seen that happen, and I've been part of that at times in teams. But this isn't a team that's got a poor attitude and a bad attitude, 100%. So you look at the system. I think we can make tweaks to it. I think every system has its pros and has its cons. Unless you're playing against a team who plays the absolute exact way of playing as you play, then it comes down to individual moments and it comes down to who's the better players and the better team on that point of view. So you'll always have your advantages against an opposition and you'll have their advantages that they're trying to expose on you. So we've looked at that, and I think out of the 15 goals, I will possibly say 2 or 3 are system failures where we've been completely out of shape, we've been caught on a transition, or players have not got back into position. I would say 10 of the goals that we've conceded are individual errors. So we have to cut out the individual errors and stop giving ourselves a mountain to climb. We cut out the individual errors, then we keep clean sheets and we win games of football. It's simple as that, because our backers to score against anybody. So for me, summarising over these last 2 or 3 days and talking to the players and going through every goal, there's individual errors in them. Now, players will make mistakes, but in one goal there was 7 mistakes made, and there was 6 opportunities to stop that. So there was a second mistake, a third mistake, a fourth mistake, a 5. So if there is one mistake, can the second player not make that mistake and get the first mistake corrected? So in that, for me, is individual errors that are obviously costing us, and really putting us on the back foot, and making it double difficult. We can keep clean sheets. You know, I think that there is an ability in this team to keep clean sheets. From a structure point of view, we can keep clean sheets. We have done in the past, and we will do going forward. Individuals, we have to stop making those mistakes that are really hurting us, and there has to be some sort of accountability for those mistakes as well. If players keep making those same mistakes, then they potentially have to come out of the team, and that's obviously my job to evaluate that and make those decisions.
So when you talk about mistakes, it's always a difficult one to talk about from a coaching point of view. Does it come down to ultimately an accountability thing, that people who make mistakes just ultimately have to be accountable for them?
Well, I think so. I think if a goalkeeper, who's part of a team, keeps dropping crosses or letting balls go through him or under him, then you look at it and you can analyse it and say, well, is he facing too many shots? Should we get out and block it? I mean, this is not our team. I'm just saying, off the top of my head. Then you look at it and go, was making individual errors. So part of that. But part of it is, we have to tweak and help. We have to help the players, coach and make them better. There is part of it from a system point of view that maybe we have to be a bit more pragmatic with our approach to get ourselves back, and maybe sacrifice a part of our game to reset and go again, which we will do. Because the other way, I think I think, as I said, from an attitude point of view, From a play point of view, we're doing enough going the other way against everybody we've played against. But certainly, if we carry on the way we're doing and concede the goals that we're conceding through structural or through individual errors, then it's going to be a struggle of a season, and it's not one that it was planned out to be a struggle.
So next game, Rotherham, credit where it's due, it was Scott that said this, Rotherham, one of those teams who are probably better than their name and their reputation might suggest. It's no sort of easy game at all, is it?
No, never. I know a lot about the Millers. I know the staff really well. They deserve an enormous amount of credit for what they're doing. It's not the most easiest of clubs to manage, a different expectation. Huge expectation to get out of League One, and obviously to stay in the Championship. But listen, they're doing more than staying in the Championship at the moment. They're really going fantastically well, and Paul's done a brilliant job over the years. Him and his staff. So we know the staff, we know the players from that part of the world, obviously. So I know what their strengths are, and they've got a lot of strengths, and they'll want to finish their international break on a high. And for them to get a result at our place on Saturday will be seen as a brilliant start to life back in the Championship, and gives them a great opportunity to kick on.
It is your place. It's an unusual Saturday evening game. It's your crowd. That can be the perfect stage to sort of get back on track. But look, we all know it can go the other way as well. It's up to you guys to make it the advantage.
I've always said that. It's up to us to set the tone and our approach. Listen, you go 3-0 down. If you're at Man City and you go 3-0 down, you've got to expect the criticism that comes your way personally as a team. So we take all that on board. I thought they gave us a right push second half, but that was set off by the players and their attitude to the second half, which was a lot more intense than what it was in the first half. As I said, the game was flat from our point of view, and there's certain aspects that I didn't enjoy. Well, there's a lot of aspects that I didn't enjoy first half, and the supporters have that right. So I'll never criticise them. As I said, I've had a great relationship with them, but I take that responsibility. So myself deserves the criticism if we're not producing the goods, because we're expected to produce the goods here at this football club. And to be 3-0 down to Cardiff at half time is unacceptable, not just for the supporters, as you can imagine, from myself and the players. So we have to do something about it. We have to adjust that. We have to adjust that feeling, because when we do get on the front foot and we play as we know we all can play, and how we go about it, then I'm sure they'll be right back behind us. But I'm not, as I said, I would totally accept and understand the frustration of everybody at the moment, and quite rightly, what happened in the first half was unacceptable and deserved. And like I said, would be, I don't know, one ground in English football, European football, or world football that if they're 3-0 down at half time, people are standing up and saying, "Unlucky boys, carry on. Let's get on with it. We can get back into this." You're going to get it, and you're going to get it playing for this club. And I've said all along, all players and managers and coaches are always happy to accept the pats on the back and well done, and we're going well, we're playing well, and this, that, and the other. And the feeling when you come off against Sunderland and everybody's there and you're clapping the players are clapping the supporters, and the supporters are clapping the players, and it's great and it's wonderful. But you ultimately get judged in little periods like this as a player and as a manager. I've got nothing to prove, but I will keep proving it, because my track record has seen me come through all this, and I'll go through it again, and I know I'll go through it again because I've got that confidence and the experience of going through it again, and the players need to come through it. It's easy to manage, easy to manage when the team's free flowing and you've got the best players, and you're cruising and you're dominating everything, and the sun's shining and the game looks so easy. the ultimate test is when you're up against it a little bit, when your back's against the wall, and you have to come out fighting and showing what you're about, and it's and at the moment it's a little test that maybe bigger than a little test that we all need to come through, but I'm sure we will.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Chris, obviously, I don't know if you managed to see Steve Morrison's quotes after the game the other night, and did that concern you at all when he was talking about kind of being happy to let your team have possession?
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
They got pushed back. It's easy, innit, to say that, innit? Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to be looked as a brilliant coach and mastermind? I love all this spin, I see it all the time. It's survival spin at times. They did a job on us. Just walk away and say, listen, we got the result, and that's it. But because you don't get results, you're under pressure. Fortunately, I've had a career where I've won something, so I don't really need to justify where I'm at and my career as a young manager. They got pushed back. Their attitude of the team, their team was one of survival second half. Make no mistake about it. Especially after 77 minutes, it was survival. They didn't get into our half. They had 4 shots, 3 shots and an header. They were far better than us first half, far better than us. And credit to the opposition manager for setting up as he did. Changing the way they played, because they played 4-3-3 and played, really wanted to change the dynamics of the club. They resorted to a way of playing and a way of acting that we all know what happened that night, which is up to them. Is it sustainable? For me, no. Going about it like that, and they got the result. Well done. But I think it sort of does annoy. I don't know. It doesn't really annoy me because I'm not that bothered about it. But when people go, "Oh, we just sat back and soaked it up, and they were always going to have a ball." Well, not really, because when Rodrigo's had an opportunity to make it 3 each with an header, and then their boys a last minute blocks, good defending, they got pushed back. So they got pushed back, and they couldn't wait for the final whistle. And as you saw, it was a great night for them, and walk away and shake. But I see it too often, like managers spin, and I've never done it. If my team's good, it's good. If my team's not good, it's not good. If there's parts of it that I think that are factors in us not winning games of football, then I'll say it. But for me, they didn't sit back and sit into a shape. They were pushed back, and they were defending for their lives because they needed a result. That football club needed a result, and fair play to them, they got that result, and obviously it takes the pressure off everybody.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of looking closely at Middlesbrough, the pattern of the 2 games that I have won have been when you've not had the most possession in a game. I mean, is that something that concerns you, given that you are a team and a manager that want to play on the front foot and have the possession?
The issues, as I said, Craig, like going from, if I thought it was a structural thing, if I thought it was a shape and a formation sort of thing, if I thought it was a way of playing sort of thing, then it got us to 7th place last year from the start that we had. We've not got the start this season that we wanted to. And I think if you analyse all the goals, and of course you can tie some of them in to, formations and whatever, and sometimes some really good goals in there, and you might have been moved about and exposed. Maybe I would say the 3rd goal from their point of view is a really good goal. The 1st and 2nd goals are, the mistakes by us. We give the ball away in a cheap position. We don't react. We don't get over, and the goalkeeper should make a save. The second one is a through ball. Izzy Jones cuts it out, goes into the skipper. He's not really got it under control. He has an opportunity of making a pass. He makes a wrong decision. Their boy goes through. We don't come out and block it. He has a shot, and you're 2-0 down. That's not the goals like we scored against QPR or Sheffield United or West Brom. The 3rd goal is, and we can still look at that and might say we're a little bit open than this and a little bit open than that. But we can analyse everything because, I'm a defender, Al's a defender. We know we're not daft. We know that we're not this gung-ho side. We want to get the balance right. We want to play front foot football that everybody wants to enjoy and has enjoyed so far in my time here. I don't want us just to boot it. I don't want us to sit everybody behind the ball. But there is a little bit of balance, so we might have to be a bit more pragmatic and tweak, but not a wrecking ball to it. So it's not a system thing, because if it was, if it was, I'm giving the game away a little bit here, Craig, because I'll possibly you'll see on Saturday that we're playing 4-5-1 or whatever, but we're not. We're going to play the way, and we're going to tweak, and we're going to ask the individuals that we need to concentrate a little bit more. We need to be defenders first, and we need to get back to the art of defending individually and as a team. And we need to make these mistakes that are obviously hurting us and costing us.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of things that maybe supporters and even we don't see is kind of the stuff that you're touching on here, all the work that goes on behind the scenes. It's not just a case of this is how I play and we're sticking to it. There's so much analysis goes into the build up and the preparation.
Of course there is so much detail. I would say the level of detail I'm not saying will be way above anybody in this division, but I'm sure wouldn't be surpassed by anybody in this division. The level of detail that we go into, video analysis on how we play now, and how we want to improve our system, and how the opposition play. So we get all the information, we get all the level of detail. Players have that information. I'm not tricking them under the bus by no means, because we are all in this together, and we have to, I'll always be a team man. So, but we all get the information. We've looked at everything over the last 72 hours, but of course you're gonna when you get such a disappointing first half performance, because the second half was all right, and it's quite easy for people to say, well, they've got nothing to play for second half. Well, they have, because if you've got, like I said to you there, if you've got a team of poor attitudes and bad people in your group, you get done 4, 5 and 6 without a shadow of a doubt. But they didn't, and we all know that really we should have got something from the game. It's as daft as it sounds, regardless of how well Cardiff City sat back and sat in, and obviously tactically made unbelievable last-minute blocks and scrambling all over the place. That's brilliant tactics, that.
Yeah, I mean, going into Saturday's game, obviously, particularly the timing of it with the international break after, and you have that 2 weeks kind of almost festering if you don't win. Does it feel like an important game to you?
Every game feels important for me at this football club. Everyone. It doesn't change. But we need to get out of this situation that we're in, because it's not good enough and not acceptable. I can't get away from that. I've said it as it is all along. If we weren't playing well and we were losing, I would say that. If we were playing okay and getting mixed bag of results, I would say that, which I have. But one thing that I'm not enjoying and don't like is our lack of points, because that represents a huge amount for us if we want to be successful. I don't want to sacrifice points for style. It's not about me. I'm not a manager that, I tell you what I'll do is I'll play this way, and I might get noticed by another club. But the results might not be that good. But what a forward-thinking, innovative manager that I am. And there's managers like that. There's managers like that in the division that will play a certain way for an individual progression. I'm a club man. I want my team to play well, and I want my team to win. And we're not winning. I want my team to keep clean sheets. As I said, my attitude as ultimately a defender is that this is the solid foundations that we need to give the team to go and get a result, because I always think the other way will score. We're not an incredibly open team that's getting caught on the counter attack. Which if that was happening, then we would change the way we were playing. All the goals have been analysed, all the situations, scenarios, like you said, we have that ability to look at in unbelievable detail. And as I said, regarding the system, I would, System was and sometimes you do give it up. You do give possession up. You do give possession up to get a result. I understand that, which we did at Swansea. So you have to adjust, and you have to be flexible in how you go about it. And there's all different types of games. You know, we'd not had a clean sheet all season against Sunderland, and you know, then that was more of an attitude to keep a clean sheet, not a desire to sit back and be clever. Like somebody just said that how clever they were and how brilliant they were tactically. I never said that against Sunderland. We got pushed back. We got pushed back because we kept giving the ball away. So we looked at us and went, we need to keep the ball a little bit better. We need to be a little bit braver. But I understand this whole situation that we're in. We're desperate for 3 points. It's a local derby, and we're after a clean sheet. So you might get that little bit of edginess into your game to get over the line. So, as you said, it's there's a lot of things that go into it. But really, the stuff that's hurting us is self-inflicted. In my opinion, I don't think it's the way we play. I don't think it's the way we play from attacking point of view. Whether people think it's one up and a midfield player it's a 10 and a 9. You know, it's a 10 and a 9 because Riley McGree scored against Sunderland, scored against Swansea, and he's in the box. So you know, it's not a one up front sort of situation, defensive. The goals are killing us. It ran through the team first half. We're really poor in possession. We allowed the opportunity for the opposition to take a foothold in the game because they're 2-0 up and 3-0 up. And then we played, obviously, a lot more quicker, intense, better with the ball, more purpose to our play, second half. So, as you said, there's certain things in there definitely we need to look at. But if you give away daft goals, you know, it just sort of goes through and affects everybody.
I mean, it's obviously it's not been the start any of us wanted or hoped for, but we are only 9 games in. I mean, do you still look at that group? Do you still get a feel of the place and feel this can still be a successful season?
Of course it can, yeah. Of course it can. But we have to affect it. We can't keep going on. You know, short, medium, or long term, whatever our ambitions are. Short term, we want to win games of football. Medium term, we want to put the club in a decent position going into the January window. And long term, we want to be successful. So, yeah, there's been factors in that. You turn over of players, a few of the injured players, key players that have been out, and bits and pieces towards that. The inconsistency in terms of results. I don't like being a yo-yo team. So. There's bits and pieces in there, but there's definitely. I may be contradicting myself here a little bit, Craig, but I think if we'd have won, which we didn't win. But I think you win 2 games in what we're looking to do, and we're still looking to go and win on Saturday. You know, you're inside. You're deep inside the top 10, aren't you? So, but I don't want to get away from the fact that we're in the position that we are. So I'm not going to say, well, win 2 games of football, you know, that we're going to be in the top 10. Everything's all right. We've got to go and win those games of football, and one of them we haven't. So we have to accept that criticism, and accept that situation. But can we go on a run? Can we go and win 3 or 4 games on a spin? I believe when we're at our best and we cut out the silly mistakes and we play and we get a little bit more rhythm into our game, a little bit more consistency because of the yo-yo situation that we're in at the moment, then I believe that we can win games, and winning games, as you know, takes you up the league.
You said after the game in the week, Chris, that a couple of times that it was like a deeper thing than just 45 minutes of football. Is that the worry, that you can make changes, you can tweak things, but if you feel there's deeper issues with the squad, with the club, structural things, whatever, that's harder to change quickly?
I think there's stuff that we'll always try and change. You know, as I said, we talked about the transfer window, and there was some good bits. There was some frustrating bits in that. I think we've all been frustrated by it. Has it been the ideal window? I think we all understand the window and the problems that it's presented to us. and some stuff that we couldn't control, and maybe some stuff that we can control better. So we will be better in that, in windows. We'll be better from a recruitment point of view. This change is going to be made there. This change is going to be made on certain other parts of the football club, because that's my job to recommend as well, knowing what really good looks like. And we've had it here, and be honest and open, and if we can make those changes, which I'm sure we will do, to make us better going forward. And the turnover of players is a big turnover of players. I thought it was possible to do, and maybe it's been a bit more of a struggle than maybe I expected it to be, through certain situations that I don't think we all need to go into. But the top and bottom of it is that we've, out of 9 games now, we've lost 4, which is not good enough. So regardless of what the changes behind the scenes, that shouldn't really impact the players. Individual errors shouldn't really impact the recruitment's not as where we want it to be, or there's other bits and pieces where it wants to be. We've got to look and take responsibility and go, well, the results from me, ultimate responsible for them, to the players, have not been consistent enough, and we've made mistakes in those 9 games. Now, if we cut out those mistakes in the next 9 games, I'm sure that we'll be in a much healthier position. So I can't put that onto these players. These players we're underachieving. We're underachieving in results. There's certain factors in there that we need to be better at and be more consistent at, and take that responsibility. But ultimately, we're not in the position, regardless of anything that goes on. The club don't enjoy being in this position because they shouldn't be. Is it a tough league? Yeah, it's a tough league. And regardless of support, regardless of if you've won a League Cup or you've got to a UEFA Cup final, or you've had unbelievable players here, we're working in the here and now. And here and now is that we're in the position that we're in, and we have to accept that, and we have to take responsibility for that. But I think you understand as well that yeah, it is. We're only 9 games in, and there's certain bits and pieces on that, and I'm sure we will definitely improve it with the experience that we've got from myself and the coaching staff, and the work that we'll do with the players. But we have to deal with that, accept it, and do something about it, basically. And as I've said to you, and I told you afterwards, I think that the judge of a player is when maybe and other people is, and maybe of a character, because a lot of it is a mentality. They're all talented footballers. We've got boys going away on international duty this week. We've got Paddy McNair. We've got, Zyke obviously is not playing, but he's an international. Marcus Force is going away. There's boys going away that are international players, and there's other boys at the football club that are really good players. And there's staff that are really good staff. But we're all one thing or the other, inconsistent and underperforming. And we have to accept that and do something about it.
And you talk about accountability there, and players being accountable for what they do on the pitch. Clearly, if at some stage you feel you need to make changes, you need to have the players that you can bring in. Do you feel that next level of players, the players who aren't necessarily playing at the minute, who are on the bench, who are out the squad, whatever, are capable of coming in and making a difference if you need them, if you decide that changes are needed?
I don't think we're at our strongest, and I think the club will understand that. And the depth of the squad is not where we need it to be to ultimately really like what it looks like. I think we all understand that, but that's just how it is at the moment, and we have to deal with it and get on with it. But there's enough talent in that group, and there's some good players that are pushing. Ultimately, I won't. If we have to make the changes, I will do. I'm not going to leave my best players on the bench. If I think that my best players, I look at it and go, it might seem a bit daft, but I go through it and I look through the substitutes and go, should he be playing? Which of them should be playing? Should they be playing? Have we made the right decisions here? Have we made the right, from a tactical point of view, who we're playing against? Looking at them, on the 3-game week, looking at them from a form point of view. because I think I do think we've got some really good players that are not playing anywhere near their true form or not even potential, what they've done before. So how do we get them up? Do we keep them in the team? Do we have to take them out of the team? Are the players that are out the team that I believe should be in the team? These are all decisions and all factors that we have to look at and get right.
Zach Steffen, is he back in training?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. It's been a difficult couple of weeks for Zach, but we went over to Manchester. Obviously, that's his parent club, and so with the doctor, our doctor went over there and had a really good meeting, and he went through a process, and he's been back training the last couple of days.